Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a massive, honestly kind of intimidating question. What actually happens to us when artificial intelligence can fundamentally outthink us? Now, we aren't just looking at the tech itself today. Instead, we're exploring a truly fascinating blueprint proposed by author Choi Won-hyuk in his work, Human Survival Strategy Through Correlative Thinking and Hwaseong in the AI Era. It's an incredibly unique approach that marries ancient philosophical wisdom with our highly technological future, and it gives us a very real, practical framework for navigating the years ahead. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the explainer today. First, survival in the AI era. Second, the correlative thinking advantage. Third, the wisdom of Hwaseong. Fourth, the symbiotic connective economy. And finally, fifth, a higher dimension. Section 1. Survival in the AI era. Facing the ultimate threat. So let's start by looking directly at that ultimate threat. As artificial intelligence advances at this absolutely wild exponential rate, we're seeing systems that can outprocess, outwrite, and outcompute us. And this brings us face to face with the core anxiety of our modern technological age, right? When machines can do what we do, but faster and honestly often better, what is our place in the world? We really have to ask ourselves, how does humanity survive the AI era? And we aren't just looking for a strategy to scrape by or merely exist. No way. We want to actively thrive alongside AI. We need to find our unique human footing in a landscape that is literally shifting beneath our feet every single day. Well, Choi Won-hyuk's answer to this anxiety is surprisingly profound. He states, "This study has proposed a new paradigm that combines correlative thinking and Hwaseong as a survival strategy for humanity in the AI era." So he's proposing we combine these two very specific things, correlative thinking and Hwaseong. And to be clear, these aren't software updates or new microchips. They are deep cognitive and philosophical frameworks. They are the ultimate survival mechanisms that we are going to unpack today. Let's move to Section 2, the correlative thinking advantage, humanity's cognitive shield. To build this cognitive shield, we first need to get really clear on what our unique strengths actually are when compared to a machine. In the first part of the source material, the author outlines a rule of four structure for correlative thinking. These are the four specific modes. First, there's Ipshe, or stereoscopic thinking. Second is Sanhwan, meaning cyclical thinking. Third is Gongam, which is empathy. And finally, Yonghap, representing convergence. These four pillars map out exactly how human cognition operates on a level that binary code simply cannot replicate. These four modes, they represent humanity's truly distinctive strengths in this new AI era. You see, AI absolutely thrives on linear, sequential logic, but we have these four distinct edges. Think about it for a second. Stereoscopic thinking allows us to view complex situations from multiple, layered dimensions all at once, taking in the messy reality of a situation. Empathy is our ability to deeply, inherently connect and feel what another human is experiencing. Cyclical thinking helps us understand that ends are often beginnings, seeing the natural loops in life rather than just a straight line. And convergence, that lets us smash entirely different ideas together to create something totally new. These traits give us a definitive edge. They are our foundation. Moving right along to Section 3, the wisdom of Hwaseong, the ancient engine. Now that we know our cognitive strengths, we need a way to actually organize and apply them. And that is exactly where Hwaseong comes in. It's an ancient concept that serves as the engine to drive our modern survival. Hwaseong is a theory originating from the ancient Buddhist philosopher Wonyo, which dictates that different viewpoints each possess their own validity. It's achieved through mutual subsumption and integration at a higher dimension. Now, in everyday terms, mutual subsumption basically means taking two totally different, maybe even opposing ideas, and instead of letting them destroy each other, finding the shared truth in both to build something entirely new. It is all about validating different viewpoints and integrating them together. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Think about traditional conflict. Actually, just think about modern internet arguments. Our default instinct is traditional conflict. It's a zero-sum game where one side must lose and one view has to annihilate all the others. Now contrast that with Hwaseong. Hwaseong offers an alternative, elevating both sides to find constructive wisdom. Instead of destruction, we get that mutual integration. In a polarized AI era full of intense conflicts, rapid changes, and oppositions, this ability to harmonize competing ideas is a completely vital tool for moving forward. Which brings us to Section 4, the symbiotic connective economy, the real-world application. So this is where we shift our focus from philosophical theory to practical application. How does this ancient wisdom actually scale up to structure our modern society and our global markets? Well, the source defines this as the symbiotic connective economy. It is the literal embodiment of Huazhang principles within the economic domain, designed to ensure that all of humanity survives together. Instead of a market where one corporation's AI obliterates human workers, a symbiotic economy uses these principles of integration to ensure human strengths and AI efficiencies actually support one another. It builds an economic system entirely upon the foundation of mutual integration. Now, what's really fascinating here is how Choi Won-hyok maps Won-hyo's 4 original gates of Huazhang directly to the 4 seasons, and then connects them to 4 major economic theories. Notice how beautifully he makes these connections. Spring, a time of new growth and beginnings, aligns perfectly with libertarian freedom, the freedom to create and innovate. Summer's peak activity and energy ties to utilitarian efficiency, maximizing output. Autumn brings the harvest and the need for fair distribution, linking to social contractarian justice. And winter, the harshest season, requires communitarian solidarity so that everyone can survive the cold together. The takeaway here is incredibly profound. When these 4 seemingly opposing economic theories are integrated cyclically, literally just like the 4 seasons, the economy transforms into a symbiotic one where all survive. The true beauty of this framework is its absolute neutrality. Just as nature needs both the unbridled freedom of spring and the deep protective solidarity of winter, our society needs all these economic theories working cyclically. Instead of endlessly arguing over which single economic theory is right and trying to destroy the others, Huazhang teaches us that they all have validity in the respective seasons. They must integrate dynamically for our mutual survival. And finally, Section 5, a higher dimension, the resolution. Let's bring this explainer to its resolution by zooming out just a bit to look at the ultimate philosophical goal of this entire survival strategy. The author notes that Buddhist liberation possesses what is called a dynamic stillness, a state where body and mind are perfectly unified. Now, dynamic stillness might sound like a bit of an oxymoron to a layperson, but think of it as being perfectly calm and centered at your core, even while navigating a rapidly moving, completely chaotic world. To overcome the rapid changes and oppositions of the AI era, we have to find that calm center. We have to use our correlative thinking to reach this higher dimension of integration. So the crucial point we're left with is this. How will you use the wisdom of Huazhang to integrate and thrive in a higher dimension? We have the cognitive tools, we've got empathy, stereoscopic thinking, cyclical understanding, and convergence. We have the blueprint of mutual integration instead of mutual destruction. As we move forward into this uncharted era, the strategy for humanity isn't to try to compete with machines on their terms, it's to elevate ourselves on ours. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today on The Explainer. Keep questioning, keep integrating, and keep learning.